Welcome to this week's episode of At Home with Ivers. I'm at home today as dad, primarily. My wife is at a socially distancing outdoor work-related kind of all-day retreat as they plan for next school year. And I've had the privilege of being with the boys as they try to make it through their virtual school day, and I try to balance that with work, and it's been adventurous. And we did our first Chipotle mobile order for lunch, so that was kind of fun. More information than you need to know. I am having a hard time with the moment in our country right now. Obviously, the COVID is still on all of our minds, although I have some updates on that. But more importantly, the sort of insipid and I think senseless racism and some of the injustice that's happening in the world is heartbreaking to me. And as a theater that values all the communities that we serve and values life and values our Black community and the artists that work with us, I just want to take a moment to recognize that it's a very, very divisive and hard time right now. So I'm sending my love and my best thoughts to all of you out there and remain available to you. And I also want you to know that we are busy making plans. Those plans will going to tease out in the next few weeks and then have a larger announcement about how we plan to return. If you want to speak to a person at the theater, we are now moving back to having some people spend time at the office. There's going to be some people in the box office. And we're starting the process of gently and gradually looking at how we convene together as a staff, again, socially distanced with all the sort of health protocols in place. And that's exciting. There are, I think if you stay tuned in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a bunch of announcement about renewals, about what next season is going to look like, about some exciting initiatives. And I hope that you'll stay in touch through these channels as we get that stuff out. If you're growing impatient, feel free again to reach out and email me, ivers@scr.org, and know that you are chief amongst our thoughts here. And our prayers and hopes are, remain that you're staying safe and healthy. And I'm very, very honored that today's guest is Felix Yan, who is a new member of the Board of Trustees for South Coast Repertory. It's a very interesting dynamic between staff and leadership and the board. We have this extraordinary board at South Coast Repertory of vibrant, uber intelligent, life-affirming strategists and livers and learners. And I hope you'll enjoy this episode of At Home with Ivers. And I hope you are staying safe. All right, here he is. Board member extraordinaire and friend Felix Yan. How are you?
Good, and good morning. Thanks for inviting me into your home/office.
I know we were talking just before this that look, we had some technical snafus last week. We sort of ended up with a bit of a kind of podcast feel, and here we are back having worked out our technology. And in the time between, I was just saying, today happens to be my boy's last day of virtual school, and it's chaos. And we've kind of started to reopen our office. So I rushed in here and thought, well, I wonder if Nicholas, our communications associate who puts all this together, is going to have a tough time justifying At Home with Ivers from his SCR office. But here we are, and I'm really glad to see you again.
I call SCR home, too, so that's perfect.
Certainly, sometimes it feels like I'm here more than home. It is a great, in addition to just how glorious the weather is right now, I realize it's just so beautiful. It is really nice to walk back through these doors, and I know you and I have talked a lot about our shared love for this place and your history with it. And I'm wondering, how does it feel? I know how it feels in my first year. How does it feel in your inaugural sort of moment as a new board member? Board of Trustee with SCR. How you feeling about it?
Excited. I definitely honored. And I know one of the words that we've talked about before, a definite learner amongst this board and group. It's been fantastic. The camaraderie of everyone, how passionate they are with the performances, the programming, the theater itself, the tradition. I can go on and on. So it's been fun.
Well, that's been it's a great word, the learner word, and learning. That we're in a lot of moments about learning right now, and I've certainly been here for the whole year learning and listening, and I'm a talker, so I've been talking too. But I've said to you before, and I've said it to others. You're a tall, unmistakably present guy, and I love seeing you at our first nights. I love seeing you with your wife, and I love talking about your family and hearing about your kids. It feels like that's part of the DNA and the culture somehow of SCR, but also as part of what's called you to service a little bit, if I have it right. I want to speak.
Yeah, and of course, I can't say that I'm any theater expert, but then we do love the theater, and so with Edna and I, we've since I think it was about 2010, we've been really enjoying the first night experiences, all the different performances, the different genres, from light to some a little heavier, maybe a little bit of darkness, on some others.
Yes.
Thoroughly enjoy it. And then usually, through the holidays, of course, we bring the kids and grandma and friends as well to enjoy yeah.
Of course, it's a prerequisite, Now,
it's a family affair.
Totally. Christmas crowd, you can't beat it, Now I know that you're not a stranger to the theater from a couple of points of view. Do you dare talk about your film or producing or acting or those days? I know you bring to this that unique perspective. I mean, you do work in a bank now. You're in finance, but you want to talk a little bit about your creative endeavors, which I never get tired of hearing about.
Well, with other people, I dare to say creative, with my prior life, but amongst this group, I don't dare to say creative, but a definite a love and enjoyment for films and theater. So my prior life, I've worked with companies, 20th Century Fox, as well as Paramount Pictures. My role with them was on the marketing end with the home entertainment groups, and as a brand and marketing manager. Again, dating myself now in terms of technology and titles and and home entertainment back in the day, that's defined as home video, VHS, sell-through and rental. Title. In fact, I've been trying to acquire or buy a VCR to try and download some of my old tapes, and I'm having a tough time finding one that works. But with home entertainment, the titles that I was part of teams and actually oversaw the overall marketing plans for on an international basis. Again, dating myself a little bit, was some of the TV franchises were Star Trek, X-Files, MTV.
Awesome.
Movie-wise, part of a team, working with or on Titanic, Saving Private Ryan, Truman Show, even Night at the Roxbury. So talking about different genres. Yeah, right. So yeah.
That's good. I that will feel like I have an ally in programmatic stuff when I need someone to talk to about. Which one should we think about doing?
But hopefully I can bring a little bit of my appreciation and love for, again, that creative end. But of course, I would call theater is, in terms of, so for example, I would compare theater to film. Film, I would call it like a Tai Chi type of expertise, but film, stage performances, it's MMA. So there's a difference because it's one take, and I think there's a lot of discipline that's involved, with performing on the stage. And it's quite admirable.
It's funny that you say that. Sometimes I've talked about plays that way, that certain plays are like getting in a boxing ring. You know, I mean, it's a very masculine male way to speak of it, but that it's like there are plays where the gloves come off, and it's about, you know, the undeniable kind of conflict of people, and you know, I don't know if people see it. Depending on what row you're sitting in, but it is a very muscular craft. You know, it is hard to, I think, for, you know, a lead in a musical or a classical play, or even, you know, when M. Butterfly, those roles, I mean, you got to be in shape. You know, just your breath.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you do know that, but that component of like the actor as an athlete is real, and I love that you mentioned that.
There's so many different aspects of it, right? Being on stage, because it's not just the voice projection, it's your expression, it's your movements, everything. It's always got to come together, and you have the dynamic of the rest of the cast and the fellow actors and actresses. So yeah, not an easy feat. And
now, have you get in front of the camera? Have you done? I mean, you've done some modeling, right? Am I got that right?
Well, yeah. So things that it's been a long time ago, but
you go way back now, right?
Not just very limited in terms of in front of the screen, you know, commercials.
Figure out how I get you up on stage in the next couple
But you have just one glimpse of my abilities. You probably just kick me right off, you know, pull me right off of there. But it's funny because when I was attending college, I did take an acting course, and our final was, I think I did 2 scenes for Frankie and Johnny, and that was very challenging. So that was kind of for stage. Right. That was one of my other than, you know, elementary school type level plays. Right. I know how challenging it is to be able to manage a script and be able to put it all together and perform.
Well, listen, it's a mutual admiration society, because I feel that way about banking. I can't imagine how different, you know, the work that you're doing. And I know actually a component of what you're doing at the bank is important work for our community, you know. And I love as a board member, I mean, I love your passion, and we all do. But I love that you're bringing both of these skill sets, you know, your understanding about the creative process, your business acumen, you know, your family dynamics, and just that you're willing to wear on your sleeve, your feelings about SCR is so meaningful. I know we've been in.
Glad to do.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Oh, I said no. Glad to do. It's my pleasure, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we've been in a few board meetings. We're talking. Obviously, we're in a moment right now in our country of swift and I think wonderful change and awareness. Pandemic, Black Lives Matter. You know, even a shifting landscape about how we think about coming back to work, and how we, as we are looking at our strategies and our place in all of these things, we've talked about some opportunities, I think, coming up, and also some things we need to work on. On a general level, what are you excited about as a board of trustee for the trajectory of the theater, near term or long term? The things that you're, I mean, I know first nights, but that you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm excited about these things. What would they be?
Well, of course, you know, kind of looking back, right? The tradition with the theater is great, and the performances in the past, the quality of the performers, it's amazing. And I think with this kind of a difficult time that we've been going through, or hopefully I would fairly confidently say getting out of, it also allows us to be creative, right? And injecting a little bit of new ideas, but again, definitely keeping the tradition and the quality of work that we do. But then I know that there's a couple of ideas that's been swirling around, and we're in discussions, and we'll probably announce it further down the line. But it's interesting that because it's just like with the theater, as well as with society nowadays, and also with companies. I think it's going to take us to a different, another level and a different level, and we can have added, I think, enhanced experiences, with the future performances, and obviously not just enjoying the performances themselves. So, for example, all the, right now I think we're with all the workshops that are going to be taking place over the summer. The musical theater, and the acting workshops, and potentially it may be an online format. So again, it creates a different dynamic, but at the same time, it's a different experience for the teens and the kids too.
Yeah. Well, and you're being incredibly diplomatic, which I appreciated, and I can say that we are going to announce some of this new stuff in early July. And there's even new stuff since we've talked, which I'll tell you about later, that we're looking at. And most of it, which is a platform by which I spoke a lot about this platform when I was in interviews, but has to do with our engagement with community. All of our community.
Yes.
And I am thrilled, and I've felt the support from you about that. We're going to move forward with some of those things that I hope. I feel they're innovative and fun, and also engaging and responsible. And, we won't know until we try them. And that's one of the things I appreciate about you, and I appreciate in general about our Board of Trustees, is that there's just this great spirit about, okay, let's go for it,
Yes.
And that's exciting. How are you? You've already had some friends or relationships on the board from prior to being on it.
Yes, I do. And
Sam Tang, I'm going to blame it on Sam Tang.
I'm sorry?
You're going to blame it on Sam Tang, our board chair, right?
Well, I can't. Sam is definitely a good friend and a great mentor, but no, I can't blame anything on him. It's been really a great experience, and but yes, I do have a number of different people that I've known prior to joining the board, and so for example, like Sally and Tom, Sam, and so. But I'm also very excited to and anxious to get to know the other board members even more. I know we have really, I think one in-person board meeting so far, but the rest of the meetings have been on call or Zoom. So can't wait until things continue to reopen and we kind of be able to get together again in person for these meetings and get to know each other more.
I agree. I'm with you. That last one of like 43 people on our Zoom board meeting, scrolling through these windows of faces. It was wonderful, though.
And I'm still learning how to navigate through our Zoom platform.
Me too. I was getting chat messages and thinking, I don't know how, they were coming up on, and I'm trying to figure out all of that stuff. So, hey, look, back to learning, right?
Yes.
It's good. Do you have any family like summer plans, or are you hunkering down? Or I heard you talking about fishing a little bit, but before.
It's been talked about. So we obviously haven't taken a vacation this year, and so there are some thoughts, but Edna is still a little reluctant in terms of planning anything long or far away. So thought about maybe just close by, driving over to Arizona, enjoy the resorts, and there's some fishing, potentially Hawaii as well, as you might have overheard.
That's the one I vote for.
I'm a big catch and release fisherman, so.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, the board and we are better for your service and guidance. I don't know if people know that Paula and I, are hired and fired by the board, and we report to the board, and the board is really our governing body for the institution. And honestly, the makeup of the board right now in terms of how the guidance and the oversight seems to be working on various committees feels really impactful to me. And there's an openness and an adventuresome kind of quality that's happening. And I just want to thank you. And I want to thank you for offering your time and oversight and commitment to us. And, my wishes for you and the family and everyone that I know is in that house and all the animals.
Yes.
Stay safe.
Well, thank you and everyone. Again, it's my pleasure, but it's also my privilege and honor as well, too. So thank you.
What a great guy Felix is. And that was really fun. I'll see you next time. Please, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and reach out if you need anything.